Joseph is off making his way, Tyler is off to the bathroom, and Pete gives the class the October download.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete. And just Pete, just myself today. I am doing a rare solo show because my dear pals, Joseph and Tyler, are off doing other things. Joseph is making his own short right now, which is something he wrote himself, thought up himself, is directing and shooting himself with some friends. And I'm not involved in this one. He had a full set and did not need the extra hands on set. I think I would just probably get in the way. I'm a kind of a help, a PA sort of with a slight bit of technical acuity on set. So I don't necessarily, I'm not a crucial part of the crew. I'm just one of the friends that watch. And Tyler is struck in with, he said last night, this morning, he messaged our group chat and I asked him, hi, Heather. Hi, Heather's in the chat. Angry Otter's in the chat. What's up, fellas? How are you? So, okay. So Tyler messaged the chat this morning and said, my food poisoned me last night, which I guess means he's got the runs. So he's back and forth between the toilet. Hey, what's up, Dallas? What's up, man? How are you? Cool. We got some people in the chat. That's exciting. Thanks for coming. This is an unusual time for us to stream live. Yesterday I had a charity event to go to, so I couldn't do it Saturday. If I did it yesterday, Tyler may have been spared his food poisoning and may actually be here, but alas, it's not the case. So anyways, I'm going to just switch to, here we go. I don't need to see Ben Roethlisberger and Larry David on screen anymore. So anyways, Joseph's doing something fun. And he's making his own short. It's a comedy short. Normally the stuff that we've shot in the past have been kind of like horror or horror adjacent, and this is a comedy sketch, which I won't say anything about. I'll leave that up to him. But it's pretty funny. I read it in its early stages. It's pretty funny. And Tyler is losing 10 pounds of body weight as we speak. So anyways, what is this show going to be with just me here? I don't know. Here, take a look at the studio. I have where Tyler usually sits right here. And where I usually sit right here, and I'm sitting in this captain's chair at Joseph's helm right now, and it's lonely in here. Brianna's downstairs. She said, maybe I'll come up and I'll talk with the classmates for a little bit, so you don't have to do it solo, but she's not feeling well either, so I'm like dodging illness left and right in my life, apparently. So what I figured what we do instead is I'm going to give you guys my streaming picks from the last month. I'm going to do some highlights and some lowlights. I didn't watch as many movies as I thought I would for basically a month off from the show. But I did just do a fair amount of research for Pre-Code November because it's a topic I don't know much about. And I had a misconception. I messaged some people on Twitter who I know are in the know, and classic films of that era are kind of their thing. And pre-code is a thing that just doesn't really get brought up very often. So message them, talk to them. I got some guests coming for this month that I've booked. And on the second half of this episode, when we do the review for Scarface, because we still are going to do the Scarface review. I am going to do the Scarface review, not we. And but I do have a guest on for that. So I'll talk about that later. So I'm going to do my streaming picks for October, give you the highlights and the lowlights. And then I'm also going to talk about kind of what we did during October. I guess I'll start with that. So first off, the short film, the short horror drama, family drama called Mother Wound, which Joseph and I talked about a bunch, and there was a crowdfunding thing, and I know a lot of the classmates donated to that, so thank you very much. It was possible to make a short that was a lot better looking than it had any right to be for such a low budget. And part of that was Joseph behind the camera doing the lighting setups with the camera or the lighting crew, and then just knowing how to work the camera and knowing what to do. He's very, very talented. And so that contributed to the overall look of it. But Mother Wound has been locked. It's in the can, as they say. And we had I was a script supervisor officially listed on the credits. And so I had a very small part in it, but I'll say we because it is a group effort. But our friend Hannah, she wrote it, she starred in it, and she co-directed it with our other friend Camille. And the film is basically about the Mother Wound, all one word, is basically like a stain on your spirit that you may have received from the past from your mother, and what that necessarily means. And a lot of it can be construed as, is this poison something I'm going to take with me into the future, or yada, 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 or is it something that I just have to deal with, today and moving forward? And it's a really good short. It's very good, very engaging. It looks fantastic. It's got an original song scored to it, which makes it feel just very real, very professional. And it had we had our worldwide debut at the Santa Cruz Film Festival, which was the first week of October. So the first weekend of October, I want to say it was the first weekend, we all went out to Santa Cruz. We stayed a couple nights at an Airbnb and debuted the short. And it was a great reception. And the way that film festival works, and I think probably a lot of them, is you buy tickets for like a block. So we got tickets for our block, but we watched a couple other blocks of films that was like anywhere between 4 and 10 shorts, depending on the length. And there were some really, really good entries into the festival. And seeing our film up there with all these other ones, there was one that had a voiceover from Ron Perlman throughout the entire thing, which was really cool, great. Clearly had a budget. It was all about the I don't know what the name of it was, but some sort of serial killer that kills women hitchhikers, and it was kind of following a woman who's hitchhiking through the desert and all that whole sort of thing. And then it's revealed, she escapes, and then she gets picked up by a second hitchhiker, and it's Theodore Bundy, and it was interesting. It was really good. And then there was one that was about a killer bidet that I thought was really good. I think it was just called Bidet, and that one was like, almost like Thanksgiving or Zombievers level of schlock and horror, and had some influence from like Aliens, the Alien franchise, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And it was very, very fun and very cool, and it was really well done. And then there was another local film called Freaky Tales. No, not Freaky Tales. It reminded me of Freaky Tales. It's called Vibeland, and that's based out of San Francisco. And the filmmakers out there, it's an anthology series, and they're going to be doing more. And this one was based around like a modern version of the Zodiac Killer, which was obviously a Northern California sort of thing. It was set around here, and I want to say 70s or something, but it's set in modern day, and it was production quality was great, all that kind of stuff. So seeing every time the credits would roll on another short in this festival, it was interesting to see, 50 or 60 people involved in this production, actual hands-on production, from multiple producers or studio production, title cards or whatever, to multiple people doing sound mixing and multiple people doing editing and color grading and da-da-da-da-da. And there's from start to finish, the entire project production crew for Mother Wound was, I want to say, about 10 people. And that, I'd say probably maybe 12. So it was like Joseph, Camille, Hannah, Kat, Jenna, Edward, I think, was on there. A couple other hands-on people, and myself. All I did was script supervising, very, very small part of it. And all the practical effects were done by Camille. There was like a belly being ripped open in one scene. She made a gelatin mold of Hannah's belly, and we had like a blood pump going through it. It looked very good and very real. The creature actor as well. I can't remember her name now off the top of my head, but she was great. She does a like haunted houses and sort of that sort of stuff, and a lot of indie horror, acting as a sort of a contortionist sort of thing. And she's very tall, very lanky, and had this like great creepy crawl she did in it, and had the full makeup with long finger extensions and like whited out eyes, and it looked really, really good. And then there was the actress who was the mother, and the actress who played the I guess Hana's therapist in the movie. And so very, very small production. So our credits rolled by is very fast, and then you see the credits roll by these other ones, and it's 6 to 10 times the production cast, and it looks very in line with that. So testament to Joseph and the production crew. It was very, very good. I don't know when it's going to be available online, but as soon as it is, we'll let you guys know so you guys can watch it. It was a great time. So we went to Santa Cruz, and we went to some after parties and mingled with some quote unquote industry douchebags, and that was a lot of fun. And got to meet the president of the Santa Cruz Film Festival himself. That was nice. It was really cool. And basically just chilled for a couple days. It was really nice. And we went around, had breakfast, and walked around Santa Cruz, and didn't actually go to the beach. First time I've been to Santa Cruz and didn't go to the beach. Yeah, Dallas, it was a really great experience. Thank you, man. And but it was really cool to see just the amount of effort that goes into something small like a 15-minute short, and what it takes to do to get there, and then the ultimate culmination of that. And I guess the goal hopefully is that somebody sees it and goes, wow, it's a really small team. Production was, I don't know, 15 grand or something like that, and it looked really good. What could they do with $500,000 or $1 million or something like that? So you think about movies like Lights Out, started as a 2-minute short, very, very short, ultra high concept of a person closing down shop at the end of the night, or a house or something like that. And, oh, hello, darling. The love of my life is in the chat. The handsomest member of MCFC. Very biased of you. Thank you so much, darling. So anyways, yeah, you see something like Lights Out. 2-minute short, someone either leaving their house or leaving a work or something like that. They flip the lights off and they see the silhouette of the creepy creature in the doorway. Flip the lights on, it's not there. Flip the lights off, it's there again. Flip the lights on, it's gone. And then it jump scares her. That's that. And it's a great, really, really like an ultra short mini film. Not even a film, just like a scene from a movie. And they took that and they gave them a bunch of money because they said, we love this idea. Let's go. Let's make this full-length movie. And they made Lights Out, the feature. And I think it's very fun. It's very good. And I look at some of these movies that are like, it's not Kino. It's not going to win any awards. At least no Oscars or anything like that. I don't think, but it had some named people in it. And it was a very competently made horror movie. And it was a great popcorn movie. And I really can't say a whole lot of like bad things about it. And I think a lot of people would take a movie like that and just shit all over it and say, that was trash. It's whatever. It's garbage. I find the more I spend time watching movies and I'm around people who make movies, even short films or whatever it is that you want to call it, I find it's a little harder to criticize small productions or even really any production. As long as they're putting heart into the movie, I really don't care. If it doesn't look perfectly as good as anything else, or the script is not unique thing that blows my hair back or whatever, it's like, I don't care. It's still something that people made. They sat there and put their energy and their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And ideally, you take something like Mother Wound. This is a short film, passion project from Hana, conceived by her, based off of events of her own life, or at least ideas from her own life, and put into the world. We made this short. She made this short. And hopefully someone can tap her on the shoulder and say, you're a great actress, you're a great writer, or a producer, director, whatever it is. Do you want some money to make this film an actual feature? And hopefully that would happen. So anyways, that was Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz was a lot of fun. Went out of town. I commuted out, or I carpooled down there with Joseph, Indiana. I drove out there in my work car since I get gas for free. And then the next weekend we had our Sacramento premiere, which was really nice. And that was at the Sacramento Railroad Museum, right down Old Town Sac, kind of by that funky, weird overpass and parking structure and stuff. And that was a lot of fun as well. We got to rent it out. I didn't even realize that a theater attached to the Railroad Museum. So if you go and you go to the left, there's all the hands-on stuff. You can see all the trains and stuff. That was all closed down. This was an after-hours thing. I think Friday night. I want to say it was Friday night. Yeah, it was Friday night, I think. Like 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that. So end of the workday, went out there, and the theater was a pretty significant theater. I'm sure they show like train movies or whatever there. That one video for first movie of the train coming at the screen, everybody freaks out. Probably just that on repeat. But we rented out that theater, and it was really great. They sold pretty much all the merch they had left over from the Mother Wound, shirts and stickers and decals and posters and things like that. Great poster, by the way, too. It looks really good. And got to see it with friends and family. So that was really cool. We had a couple friends, Steven and Anna, that came out. Tyler came out. And Tyler wasn't part of this production. And so he's been kind of like, the three of us, me and Joseph and Tyler, were kind of like, we're very much connected to each other in our real lives outside of the podcast. So it feels kind of weird, me and Joseph working on this long-term project. And we spent multiple weekends doing it together. And then we spent multiple weekends out promoting the show or promoting the movie or screening the movie or whatever, and this a different group of friends. And so we asked Tyler to come out, and he came out, and we watched the movie together. Brianna was there, Joseph's parents were there, a lot of the parents were there, and it was really good. It went over gangbusters. So anyways, that's enough of what Mother Wound. It was very, very fun. I feel much more connected to that group of friends at this point, and it was just great to be a part of something like that. So that was that. And then, let's see, what other interesting things happened in October? Well, I rewatched the Alien franchise, start to finish. So one of the things I love about doing the podcast is I get connected with other indie film podcasters or indie other podcasters. And we get to guest on each other's shows and come on and do small segments or do full episodes or whatever. And I met a bunch of great guys and gals through the podcast world. And this small group of us have not started, but we've been for quite some time now, a few years now, doing these mega episodes or mega pods. And we'll watch every movie of the franchise, of whatever franchise it is. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Child's Play, I think that's number 4. And then now we're in the Alien franchise. And we watch all of them. In this franchise we watched AVP and AVP Requiem as well, unfortunately, and then rank them. And we come on the show, we do a group recording, one person spearheads it, and we basically all go through the movies one by one, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and how they relate to the rest of the franchise, and if it's overrated, underrated, et cetera, and then give our rankings. And it's a lot of fun. So it's this one was ran by Kevin from the podcast That Wouldn't Die. Him and Aaron are the hosts of that show. And we had Stu from Stu World Order, Carlo from the Movie Loot, Ed from the Film Effect, and I know I'm missing somebody. Maybe it was just the 4 of them and me. Yeah, it was just the 5 of us. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, the 5 of us, and it was 3 hours or something like that for one episode. But we're talking about, let me look at my rankings here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies total. So we have the original trilogy, Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. Then you got like the prequel or the sequel trilogy, which I know Resurrection's in there. Forget about that for a second. You have the sequel trilogy, which is like Prometheus and Romulus, or Prometheus and Covenant, and then Romulus after that. But then there's Alien Resurrection, which is a completely different thing. It's in canon for most of the movies, but it just feels like its own different movie. It's different from all of them. It's directed by Jean-Pierre Reno. I think that's what it was. Juno. Yeah, Juno. Jean-Pierre Reno. I can't remember his name. The guy that directed Amelie and Delicatessen and City of Lost Children. And A Very Long Engagement, which you watched on the show because of Binge Lord Dan, which was a great recommendation. So then you have, so I would put that in like this separate trilogy, non-canon trilogy, along with Alien versus Predator and AVP Requiem. So I'm going to give my rankings that I did on the show. Might spoil it for anybody that's watching the show, but for most people that know me, they realize they probably have a pretty good idea about it. So the first 2 entries of the franchise, of the Alien franchise, are 5-star movies, in my opinion. Aliens, the second part, I think is the top spot. And for me, it's more of a personal, I know it's more of a personal taste. All the rankings are personal taste anyways, but I feel like there's more there's so much more to the movie. And yes, it's cheesy action pulp to a degree, but there's so much more to it. Alien is a great slow burn horror movie, and Aliens is a great over the top action movie creature feature. And every question that you have in Aliens or in the original Alien gets answered or ramped up in the second one. So when you get done watching Alien as a youngster or as an adult, depending on your age, you're probably thinking, damn, that one alien fucked them up. They killed that whole ship with the one alien. I wonder what happens if there's more of them. And sure enough, aliens, you get more of them. They tack the S on the end, add more aliens, you're done. But then I like the idea of thinking, well, how do they reproduce? You have, where do the eggs come from? Because the eggs are there on the planet, on the original Alien. John Hurt gets face hugged by the one that comes out of the egg, and then it turns into the chest burster. Chest burster comes out. You're led to believe that that little tiny snake worm looking chest burster thing with metal baby teeth turns into the xenomorph that we all know and love. And then that's it. So where does the eggs come from? Are these skinny, gangly ass, skeleton-like, biomechanical feeling xenomorphs? Are we led to believe that somehow those lay those big ass eggs? I don't think so. Aliens answers that with the Queen, which for my money is the greatest of all practical effects for a creature in any movie. Jurassic Park may be withstanding. The T-Rex in Jurassic Park is pretty phenomenal, but just the ingenuity of the big termite queen-esque egg sack butt thing, and the slime and the laying them out, being held up by I don't know, marionette strings that are made of living tissue or whatever, and the giant crown and the second layer of the head that comes out from under. It's so good. The Queen is so good. So, and then it also ramps up Ripley. Ripley was great. She's even better in this. She's still sensitive. She still weeps for the child that she lost, that she never got to see grow up and then is supplanted by Newt. So none of these things I need to tell you about. You all know about Alien and Aliens. But for me, the sequel is slightly above Alien. Both 5-star movies, both perfect movies. Aliens, slightly better. Where my list goes off the rails is for my part 3, which is Alien Resurrection. I think this movie is way underrated. And it takes a movie series that I think people abandoned after part 3. Alien 3 came in, and David Fincher's version disappointed a lot of people. I don't think it's a bad movie. I still think that's a 4-star movie, especially if you watch the assembly cut. It's a 4-star movie. Not my top 5, though. Still not my top 5. I think that Alien Resurrection takes a franchise that kind of lost its way and just took a big gamble and just threw a unique style at it that doesn't seem like it belongs in that universe, but for me, it really worked. It's like psychosexual Brad Dourif. You get psychosexual Brad Dourif. Dan Hedaya pulling a chunk of his own brain out of the back of his head. What else? You got Ron Perlman, Michael Wincott, Winona Ryder as a cyborg. You get multiple Ellen Ripleys, and you get an unnecessary basketball scene, which is always a welcome for me. And then you get aliens using their physical characteristics to outsmart the humans. Like they cannibalize one of their own so that the acid blood can get them out of the hole that they're in. That's great. It's awesome. I love it. Heather says, I'm not a quitter. I've seen them all a lot, and they're all entertaining. Just not all classics. Or maybe not all absolute classics of a different kind. Or maybe they're all absolute classics of a different time. A movie is only bad to me if it's not entertaining. Hell yes. Amen, sister. That's what's up. But I love Alien Resurrection. I think the humanistic side and the emotions are surprisingly relevant in Alien Resurrection. Because when Ripley sees her mutated mutant self on the table, hideously disfigured, chest already surgically opened, writhing on the table, left for dead but not dead, begging for the mercy kill. It's legitimately disturbing and legitimately sad and heartbreaking. only for real Ripley, well, this version's real Ripley, to hit her with a flamethrower instead of a bullet to the head. The worst way to do a Mercy kill. That's like a Mercy drowning. It's like Mercy stabbed in the gut and then drowned. But she Mercy flamethrowers her, which is wild. And then you get the alien human hybrid creature at the end, which is people talk shit about that. I fucking love it. It's so gross with the weird cartilage nose wiggling on the front. It's like gross for the sake of being gross, and it's perfect because every new Alien movie should have something insane offered new, and that continues with my number 4, Alien Romulus. Hot take, it's very good. Fantastic popcorn movie. 2 solid leads, which you really want to follow to the ends of the earth, and another mutated human alien hybrid, which turns out just to be a 7'7" Romanian kid. So unfortunately, he just looks like that. They put a tail on him, and that's what it is. But he's terrifying. So loved Romulus a lot. Then Prometheus, then Alien 3, then Covenant, and no surprise, AVP, then AVP Requiem. Alien 3 and Romulus and Prometheus, all 4-star movies. Covenant, 3.5-star movie. Alien vs. Predator, 3-star fun, 3-star banger. Alien vs. Predator Requiem, trash, 1.5 stars. They had a rule, only 1 light allowed on set. Every shot, only 1 light allowed. So you get what you get, darkness and all. So anyways, that's my rankings of the Alien franchise. When that super episode comes out, I'll post it on the Facebook page and on Twitter for everybody. But I believe it's going to be housed under the podcast That One Dies feed because Kevin hosted it and he kind of ran this one. So don't know when the next one's going to be, but I love doing the megapods with those fellas. It's a lot of fun. So that's that. I guess that kind of gets us up to snuff on the State of the Union. Let's do some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks. Movies that I watched on my streaming services this week that you can watch on yours too. So let's see. October. I watched one battle after another in theaters pretty early on in the month when it first came out. It's a classic. It's great. It's everything that I was sold, and it's really, really, really good. The characters are great. I feel it's surprisingly relevant, or maybe not so surprisingly relevant. Heather has in the chat, AVP Requiem was great because the audience I saw it with, hilarious. At one point, someone hesitantly said, "Can anyone see what's going on?" And we're off to the races. Oh my gosh, that's great. I know that's the joke that you can't see what's happening in the movie, but as I rewatched it, rewatched it with Brianna, and I looked at her, I'm like, "Do you understand what's happening in this scene?" She's like, "I have no fucking clue. I can't understand anything." And we had the lights down, all the settings corrected on the TV, and I can see goddamn thing. So it's cliche for a reason, but that's a great story, Heather. So yeah, one battle after another. The Paul Thomas Anderson, of course, movie, film. Paul Thomas Anderson film, very good. Yeah, it's really, really great. I can't wait to rewatch it at home. I can't wait to dissect this thing a little bit more. But some all-time characters. Jungle Pussy, great name for a character. Leo's character is fabulously inept. There are certain things he's good at and other things that he's just completely outside of his league, outside of his depth. Benicio del Toro, cool as a cucumber, undercover badass in this movie. Tiana Taylor just acting her ass off, killing it in the role. Just really, really good. And then that, of course, that chase sequence that's at the end is as good as I was told it was. I think that I don't know. I think there's some all-time scenes in this, and Sean Penn could be his best role. Yeah, I don't know. I like him. Again, maybe a hot take. I love him and I Am Sam. But that's kind of what I think of when I think of Sean Penn. But this is really good. His character in this is really good. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's probably out of theaters at this point. I'm not sure. But as soon as it becomes available for streaming or a blind buy, I'd say just do it because it's really, really good. Okay. And then Dallas says blazing hot take. I'm assuming for I Am Sam. I have a soft spot for that movie. I love it. Okay, so then I watched a movie that none of you should watch. It's called I Don't Understand You. It came out this year. It's streaming on Hulu, and it's starring Nick Kroll and another guy who I didn't recognize. I recognized, but I couldn't tell his name. Andrew Rannells. Yeah, don't know. Terrible. Amanda Seyfried's in it for a hot second. It's about a couple, two men that go to Italy for a anniversary trip or something, so they can have this like homemade food in this Italian villa little Italian household on the countryside from this little old, abuelita or whatever. And they go there and they accidentally kill people, and it just kind of snowballs, and they can't take credit for their actions. And the whole thing is the title is based off of they don't speak any English, and everyone there's Italian and speaking Italian. And there's a comedy of errors there, but it's just mean-spirited and not good. And I got some laughs out of it, but mostly I was just like, this is, of all like the terrible decisions that characters make in like a Farrelly Brothers movie, it's just like that times 10, except for it's like ends in people's deaths. And you like the people that die. So you're like, I don't like these guys. They're my default protagonists and they're just not good people. So yeah, that's on Hulu. I Don't Understand You, stay away. It's actually listed as 2024, not 2025, my mistake. Okay, next one. Let's see here. What we got? Okay, so this is one that I was excited to see, and it is not streaming yet, but we rented it. It's like a $10 rental, and I say it's worth it. I'm sure it'll hit streaming soon. It's Darren Aronofsky's new movie, Caught Stealing, starring the most beloved Austin Butler and Matt Smith and Regina King and Zoe Kravitz. And Liev Schreiber's in it, Vincent D'Onofrio, and them two, Lipa and Shmuley. And they play a couple of Hasidic Jew hitmen. So throughout the movie, I was like, I can recognize Liev Schreiber. I did not recognize D'Onofrio. He's got the curls on the sideburns and the big beard, and he's wearing that black hat and everything. But they're hitmen, and it's great. It's very much feels like a Snatch sort of movie, like a Guy Ritchie movie told through the lens of Darren Aronofsky. And it's Griffin Dunn is in this as well. Bad Bunny makes an appearance. DeFaro Wunatai, I don't know if I say that's his name right, but he's great. He plays a small part in it. And it's really wonderful. And it's not a clean story either. There's some brutality there, and there's some emotion, and there's some things that pop up in the story that you wouldn't expect. They don't tie up in a nice little bow, and I appreciated that. So a little bit messy, but a lot of fun in this movie. So that's Caught Stealing. It's a $10 rental on all the VOD services right now, but I'd probably give that one like a B+ or maybe A- or something like that. A lot of fun. Next up, a new release movie from this year, 2025, also a $10 rental. It's not streaming for free yet, but this one is just a classic, in my opinion. This should be considered a classic. And it's called Twinless. This is starring Dylan O'Brien, who I love. He's in Love and Monsters, and there was something else he was in recently. I can't remember what it was. I know he's in Maze Runner. He was in Teen Wolf. Oh, the Saturday Night movie, that like biopic about the first night of Saturday Night Live or whatever. He was in Not Okay from 2022. But Love and Monsters is where I know him from. He's so good. He's so charming. And in this movie, he plays twins. So he plays two roles. And the one twin who we follow through most of the movie is kind of a dummy. He's a little bit of a dolt, a little bit of a dunce. Maybe like a little bit of a meathead kind of. And he's a straight man, and his brother plays a gay man who is very opposite of him, very talkative, very loquacious, very very outgoing, and people like him. He's charming, and he's exuberant. He's just a very vivid sort of character, and he's dealing with his death because he just recently died. His twin died, so he goes to a support group for ex-twins. So people who were twins and one of their twins died, and now they're living basically without half themselves. That's what they see it, and it's a great concept because I never would have thought, you lose your brother, your sister, or your mother, or somebody close in your family, and it's already devastating. But if that person is, by extension, like yourself, a twin, it's a unique connection that I could never understand, and I just can't imagine what that would be like. It's literally like part of yourself dying. And so he goes to the support group, a twinless support group, and he meets a guy there whose brother also died, his twin brother also died. And that character is played by James Sweeney, who also wrote this movie and directed this movie, and he's co-starring in this movie. And James Sweeney is great because the dialogue in this is fucking sharp and hilarious and fun and energetic. And the characters are complex. They're not all cut and dry. It's not like you just know this guy is the good guy and this guy is the bad guy, or there's an antagonist and it's all just kind of like normal people, and they're running through their life. And sometimes you hate James Sweeney's character because he's very abrasive and pushes the boundaries of this kind of meathead lug sort of guy who's dealing with his brother dying, and gets him out of his shell, gets him out of his comfort zone and stuff. And then you hate him for some of the things that he does, and then you like him again, and then you feel sympathy for him, but does that excuse the way he acts, and blah, 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 blah. So this is really, really good. It's called Twinless, again. Also stars Lauren Graham and Aisling Francoisi, and those are two people who I've seen in other things that were very different characters and played the parts great in this as well. You don't need to know anything going into it. You'd probably be better off not knowing anything about it besides just what I've told you, because the story is it's just great. So if you are looking for something to do like a date night, or commit to something a little bit more substantial and just instead of just like picking something streaming or watching another series or whatever, try Twinless. It's $10 rental right now. It's on Amazon. It's on Fandango at home for $10. It's on Apple TV for $10. It's really, really good. So I don't think you will regret your decision for paying $10 for that. Okay. I watched a kind of a joke pick, which I was told was bad, and it was bad. It's from 2023, directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring Ben Affleck, Alice Braga, William Fichtner, J.D. Pardo. This is called Hypnotic from 2023. A detective becomes entangled in a mystery involving his missing daughter and a secret government program while investigating a string of reality-bending crimes. This is streaming on Peacock. It's a free watch. Do not rent this if you don't have Peacock, because it's not worth it. But it is a goofy, cheesy, kind of trash movie that is starring a very serious Ben Affleck, who does not know the kind of movie he's in, because he's taking this movie super seriously on a movie that's basically a joke. So Hypnotic 2023. It's almost like, what's that one that he was in with? What's her name? Anna de Armas, where he's like a snail farmer, and it's based off of a book that was super weird and ultra serious for not. But there has to be some tongue-in-cheek stuff with that movie. I can't remember the name of that one, but it was also really weird. And let me see. I'm going to see the release date. What is the name of that movie? Not The Accountant. It's like Black something. Case for Kindness. Deepwater. Is it Deepwater? Yeah, I think it's Deepwater. Yeah, that movie, 2022, Adrian Lin directed. That's a really weird movie, but it has some tongue-in-cheek elements, which redeemed it for me. It's still a 2-star movie. But Hypnotic was like a 1.5-star movie, maybe 2 stars at the most. So yeah, watch that. Don't watch it, whatever. I watched The Materialists, the Pedro Pascal / who else in this movie? Dakota Johnson / Chris Evans / a couple other people. This is directed by Celine Song. I think it's written by her too. And this is her follow-up to Past Lives, I believe. Let me see here. Yep. her follow-up directing movie to Past Lives, and it's all right. It's okay. It's like a rom-com with some edge. Dakota Johnson plays a young, ambitious New York City matchmaker, professional matchmaker. She works for an agency, and she finds herself torn between the perfect match and her perfect ex. Perfect match being Pedro Pascal. He's very rich. That's all she cares about, essentially. And then Chris Evans, who was her ex, and she does have an emotional connection to, but he does not fit any of the criteria that she makes for herself, that she asks of her clients. So some self-reflection, some are you materialistic or are you in it for love? That sort of thing. And can you do both? Should you do one or the other? Should you try for both? Should you try for neither? Yeah, it's interesting. And John Magaro's in it for a second too. He's the same guy that plays in Past Lives. He plays the kind of cuck husband. He doesn't actually get cuckolded, but he's basically at home as his wife is reconnecting with her former love and just like being supportive from home. That's John Magaro. He's also in this one for a hot minute too. But there's some there's some interesting stuff in this. It's like a 3-star movie. Maybe if I watched it again and I knew what I was getting myself into, it might be 3.5. But yeah, it was kind of surprising. So let me see if that's streaming anywhere for free. Yes, it's on Max right now. So you can watch The Materialists on Max if it tickles your fancy. Finally caught up with Michael Clayton, 2007 classic banger, like courtroom, not a courtroom drama, but like a legal drama, starring George Clooney, Tom Wilkinson, Tilda Swinton, Michael O'Keefe, Sidney Pollack. There's a couple other people in there too, but this is directed by Tony Gilroy, who did The Bourne Legacy. He did Duplicity, and that's pretty much it, I think. I think he's more of a writer than he is a director. But yeah, Michael Clayton's it's pretty good. Synopsis on Letterboxd says, a law firm brings in its fixer to remedy the situation after a lawyer has a breakdown while representing a chemical company that he knows is guilty in a multi-billion-dollar class action lawsuit. So it's a chemical company like a la Monsanto or something like that. And Tom Wilkinson is a scientist or a lawyer. I don't know exactly what role it's because he's lost his mind in this. He's crazy. He's gone off the deep end. And he's essentially threatening to take all this insider knowledge about how they know that their chemicals cause cancer or cause birth defects or whatever. And they hid it up. They covered it up. Maybe he was part of the cover up. I'm not sure. But he's threatening to take all that information public. And George Clooney is like a fixer. So I don't know if he's going to kill him. I don't think so because he's our protagonist. But he's essentially going to try to wrangle him in and get him back on this side of the fence. And Tilda Swinton is like I don't know if she's the CEO or the public representative or something for the company. And she's kind of pulling the strings from the background, but not doing a very good job of it. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's got a very cool vibe. And this is from 2007. It is streaming. Let's see right now. I know it was streaming before. It's only a $4 rental right now, but I know it was streaming before, so that's a bummer. I watched that early in the month, so sorry about that. If you want to watch Michael Clayton, you got to pay $4 or dig out your old DVD collection. Anti-streaming pick, The Primitive War, or just Primitive War. Yeah, not good. Don't watch it. It's like the Vietnam War mixed with Jurassic Park. It's a classic tropey Vietnam War with Fortunate Child or whatever that Fortunate Son, whatever the name of that song is, playing, helicopter swinging and all that kind of stuff. And then they go into the jungle and there's fucking raptors and stuff. And it's 2 hours and 13 minutes long. I'm an hour into this movie and I'm like, this thing sucks. It's not good. I hope it's over soon. And I looked, it wasn't even halfway done with the movie. It was so disappointing. So I'm not even going to get into it. That is not it. Don't watch this movie, Primitive War. Not even fun schlock. Not even like good in a group. It's I couldn't do better. Let's put it that way. But it's just not entertaining and fun at all. It's like they took it's a weird thing because that Adam Driver movie 65, great premise, had all the makings of this like really fun, exciting action sci-fi movie, just like this. And it could be fun, but I don't know if they just took it too seriously or they squandered like but they definitely squandered the premise. And both of those movies were just fantastically disappointing. So yeah, stay away of Primitive War. Not great. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Ooh, Don't Trip. Yes, I got a screener for this one, and I sent to me by the writer-director Alex Kugelman. And this is a passion project. It is a indie film, very indie film. It was crowdfunded, I think, through, I don't know, it was Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something. I think it was Kickstarter. But fully indie funded, no studio influence whatsoever. And Alex Kugelman's only done shorts up to this point. So very much in line with what we were talking about at the beginning of this movie. It's like or the beginning of this episode. Don't Trip is like a 4-star movie. And it feels like it's written out of a personal place, but I would hate to think that Kugelman went through this. Matthew Sato is an actor. He was in Imaginary. He was in Deadly Cheer Mom and some other stuff. He's a young guy, young actor. Says on his letterbox he's also a singer, and he plays this character of Dev, and he's a personal assistant to an agent, and he's in charge of setting up all her appointments and booking what scripts she reads and stuff, and just kind of like a grunt, but very connected. And there's a high power agent, and he gets fired by her for some reason at the very beginning of the movie. And he says his girlfriend is played by Olivia Royer. I don't know. She's from Slaughterhouse, another newer actress. And she basically is giving him shit. And she's like, what are you going to, you should make your own movie. Don't you have that script you made and you're passionate about it, but you haven't even tried to make it. You should make it. And what he decides to do is he goes to the contacts of his agent that he just got fired from and finds the studio executive and tries to get in touch with him. He's like, if you can get the studio executive to greenlight your film and option it so you can make it, someone else can make it for you, you're in forever. You could be considered the next up and coming screenwriter. And he's like, he produced The Godfather and he produced this and that. So you're led to believe it's either Francis Ford Coppola or somebody of that ilk, like a big power player. And he can't get a hold of him anywhere. He gets shut out everywhere. But he finds out that guy has a son who's a kind of a crazy party animal. And that character's name is Trip. The movie's called Don't Trip. And Trip Lefkowitz is his character's name. He's played by an actor named Will Sennett, Sennett, who is so fucking good in this. He's so like insane. The character is the coked out, maybe recovered from cocaine and methamphetamines, rich asshole son of a influential Hollywood power player who has no limitations, no rules, can sweep anything under the rug. There's allegations that he'd murdered someone in the past, like an ex-girlfriend, and it was all covered up, and you're never quite sure what it is, but he's just like the worst Nepo baby you can imagine. And Dev is trying to basically become friends with him so he can then say, oh, by the way, I'm a screenwriter too. Maybe you should read my script. Maybe your dad would like to make it. And that's his idea to get a backdoor into the industry. So majority of this movie is them just getting into hijinks, and the concept is really good. The dialogue is very funny. Will Sennett is a riot the entire time. It's Kickstarter funded, but it looks like it could easily be a studio feature. And a character like that's very draining on, it's like purposefully draining on the characters in the movie, can easily be draining to the people watching it. So they do a great job. Kugelman does a very good job of making the dialogue not too overt in that regard. Like, you're enjoying it. You do hate the guy, but it's also very entertaining, and it can feel like a monotonous thing. Oh, he just says something random, it's crazy. Oh, he does something weird, and people are freaked out by it. But it doesn't feel like draining or repetitive or like nails on a chalkboard. It's just really good. So, but yeah, Alex Kugelman. I'm going to be looking out for his next feature. He's very good, and anything that Will Sennett's been into. So I reviewed this on Letterboxd, and Will commented on it and basically just was like, "Hey, man, yeah, what's up?" thanks, man. Appreciate it. And he's an up-and-coming actor, too. So it's like 3 young actors. Yeah, 3 young actors. And then his dad is played by, it's a very small part, but he's played by, where is it? Fred Melamed, who's, you recognize him. If you don't know him, the name, you'd recognize him. Great voice. And he plays the studio exec. And so he's in it for a hot second, but it's basically just like 3 young actors and an up-and-coming writer-director. And they made this fucking great movie. So more of that, please. So that is streaming on Tubi. I think it's live now. If it's not live now, it should be live in the next couple days. But at the time I watched it, it wasn't available. And he basically said, just have everybody watch it on Tubi as soon as it goes live. So check that out on Tubi. The guy gets probably 50 cents every time you watch it. So watch it a few times. Okay, I think that's it. I watched a bunch more. I rewatched The Monkey. I watched Scarface, obviously, for the show that I'm going to do in a second. Watched the entire Alien franchise. I rewatched Ernest Scared Stupid, which is an all-time classic. I watched 2017 It from Andy Muschietti, which is, I think is a modern horror staple. I watched Ender's Game from 2013. I bought the Steelbook as a joke. Long story. It didn't work. The joke didn't work, but I had this movie. It's been sitting on a shelf for like a year. I finally watched it, and it's like the whole movie sucks until the end, and then what's revealed to have happened rechanges the entire movie. It doesn't turn it into a great movie, but it makes me sad that they didn't make any more because it was a great reveal. A great reveal. So Ender's Game is not great, but maybe it's worth it. Rewatched Weapons again. It's great. And then I watched this really small movie called Scared Shitless as a recommendation from Jason Kleberg from Force 5, Steve Ogg, Daniel Doheny, Mark McKinney, Julian Richings, and a couple other people make up this movie. And it is it's like a modern B movie. It's great. A plumber and his germophobic son are forced to get their hands dirty to save the residents of an apartment building when a genetically engineered bloodthirsty creature escapes into the plumbing system. Feels very Attack the Block, but with more schlock and more. And the creature effects were done by Steven Kostanski from Psycho Gorman and Manborg and Astron 6 or whatever, Astron 9. I can't remember the name of their production company. So anyways, that is it for today. Usually I ask Tyler and Joseph, you guys have anything? No? Okay, great. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, and Chris. And if you want to support us in the Patreon, you can do so at Middle Class Film Class, patreon.com/Middle Class Film Class, or you can just watch the YouTube and share with a friend. We are right on the cusp of being able to actually make a tiny bit of money on YouTube. Once you reach $100, you can cash it out. We haven't got there yet. We're so close. So share with some friends. Share this episode or past episodes because this is a weird episode. Just keep watching, and we really appreciate you. And thank you so much for the understanding for allowing us the time off for the month. I didn't get one nasty message or anything. Hey, when are you guys coming back? It was all positive. Can't wait for you to come back, that sort of thing. And next week we should have all 3 of us here, so it'll be a blast. So until next time. Thank you for joining us again as we gab and chatter, or I gab and chatter. Talk about movies that I watched from October. We talk about no movie news, but I guess personal news. It's a lot of fun stuff in Santa Cruz, all the premieres. Mother Wound stuff was a lot of fun. So follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. All the other socials that the guys normally cover, you can just go to mcfcpodcast.com. It has pretty much everything there. You can find out where to contact us there. Well, okay, we'll see you soon. Hello, classmates. If you hear that music, that means we're into Pre-Code November. That's right. I'm your host for today, Pete, running solo this episode, where my co-hosts and classmates, Joseph and Tyler, are both indisposed. But listen to those horns. Yeah. So, for our inaugural episode in Pre-Code November, we're going to be reviewing my pick, which at first I thought this is a perfect movie for Pre-Code November. And then I thought, oh, this is a terrible movie for the movie. After I started doing some research, I thought this is a terrible movie for it. But now I think it's actually a perfect movie. It's a great movie for Pre-Code November. So we're going to be reviewing the original Scarface from 1932.
You know what's happening? This town is up for the grabs. Get me?
You see?
Costello was the last of the old-fashioned gang leaders. There's a new crew coming out, and every guy that's got money enough to buy a gun is going to try to step into his place. You see? They'll be shooting each other like rabbits for the control of the booze business.
Do it first. Do it yourself. And keep on doing it.
I tell you lots of times. He hurt you. He hurt you. He hurt everybody.
I put the Universal sound in there for a second. So that was the trailer, probably an old, I don't know, recut trailer. I don't know if they had trailers of that sort back then. Of Scarface, 1932. This is directed by Howard Hawks. IMDb also lists it as directed by Richard Rawson, but I did not see that listed anywhere else, just on IMDb. Written by Armitage Trail, Ben Hetch, and Seton I. Miller. Stars Paul Mooney, Ann Dvorak, and Karen Morley. There's also a pretty strong cast of people in this, which make the movie pretty fantastic. I'm assuming I'm saying the name right. Paul Mooney as the Tony, aka Scarface, and Dvorak as Francesca. Karen Morley as Poppy, and then Osgood Perkins, a name which I thought was surprising. Osgood with an S, the traditional way. And I don't think that he's related to Anthony Perkins or the modern Osgood Perkins or Oz Perkins. But maybe Anthony Perkins named his son after this Osgood Perkins because he was an icon of his or something, and they shared a last name. But he plays Lova, Henry C. Gordon, George Raft. George Raft is he also plays a gangster in Some Like It Hot. Vincent Barnett is Angelo, or Little Boy. That's what he calls him. And then Boris Karloff in a small part. So this is I think this is the original of the Scarfaces, and yes, this was remade into the Brian De Palma one starring Al Pacino as Tony Montana, aka Scarface, and a lot of similarities, but not a word-for-word reimagining. So, Pre-Code November. Why this Why this topic? Okay, so this was my pick. Okay. And I don't know shit about pre-code movies. I don't know anything about like pre-40s movies, really. You could probably bump that decade up a decade or two, and I'm probably still pretty inept about it. But the show's middle-class film class, we like to as we transition into this new format on our show, we'd like to, bring something of actual value to the classmates. Hey, Brooklyn's in the chat, my niece. Hey, Brooklyn, how are you? So we're trying to educate people on all these various topics, and November is pre-code November. What is the code? What does code mean? The Hays Code from 1934 is like basically a restrictive set of rules that the Motion Picture Association of America decided to label those movies as approved by the code or not approved by the code. The idea was that the government was censoring or threatening to censor motion pictures in cinema. So before the government got a chance to do that, they decided to do it themselves. What was the point of the censorship? It was a very loosey-goosey set of rules. No fornication, no homosexuality, no rampant drug use. The good guys have to win, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the idea of the code. Well, pre-code, when I picked this, I thought it meant just anything before 1934 when it was enacted. And that's not quite right. I mean, that is pre-code, but we're going to learn a little bit more about that when with our special guest, who I'm going to call right now. Repeat listeners of the show might know my dear Aunt Linda as a listener, and she is going to talk to us now. She's giving her a call as we speak. Let's see if we can connect her. And Aunt Linda is she is my my hookup. She's my plug when it comes to classic movies. If I don't know anything about, it's not going through. Hold on, let's try it one more time.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
It says I can't call her. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's try this one. How about that? Oh, here we go. Hello, Aunt Linda. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Do I sound okay?
Oh, yeah, you do. Hold on. I'm going to try to get you to the board because I'm supposedly connected to the board, but it's not playing you. Hold on one second, okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Hey, there we go. All right. We're in business.
All right.
Technical difficulties.
Good deal.
Had to dust knock the dust off after a month of being off. Yeah. So welcome to the show. How you doing, Aunt Linda?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Pete. It's a real pleasure.
Yeah. And I was just telling the audience, people who haven't listened to the whole series so far, you're my connect, you're my hookup for classic movies, and you've turned me on to a number of ones that really caught my attention and I loved, like Orfeo. That was a really great one.
Oh, my favorite, yes.
Yeah, love it. And anytime that I'm kind of thinking about, I need a recommendation. I'm looking for a good whodunit, looking for a new whatever. I'll usually hit you up and say, what's a good piece in this sort of era? And you never disappoint. You've given me a number of movies. Double Indemnity was one that you recommended to me, and then it was just one of like the prototypical fantastic movies of that era in that genre.
Yeah, the film noir at its absolute best.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it truly was.
But we're not talking about film noir. We're talking about pre-code. And I was just talking about the concept of what the Hays Code is and what pre-code means. And my initial assumptions was just anything since the code went into effect in 1934. And it was roughly, I want to say 1927-ish when we transitioned from silent film to talkies. So there's only a short period of time between 27 and 34 where we had traditional movies as we know it, and they weren't under any sort of restriction. And I don't necessarily know that pre-code falls between that and 1934, or is it like the rush from 1930 to 34 when people knew the Hays Code was coming out, but they were trying to rush and get as much envelope pushing content into their movies as possible?
Well, yes and no. It's a little bit of a convoluted path of how the Hays Code came to be. And where it all started was when silent films were in their heyday, and they had the eyes and the ears of the whole world and a huge influence on American society, because moviegoers, this was new. You had influence in clothing and fashion and marriage and morals and everything. It made some leaders of the Catholic Church very nervous over the influence that movies were having. So to kind of get their flock to follow along with their narrow-minded thinking, they created an entity called the Legion of Decency. That was around 1919-ish. And how in 1915, the Supreme Court of the United States had ruled that movies do not constitute being eligible to be First Amendment right protected.
Oh, yeah, because they were a product, essentially, so they didn't say that they were...
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Exactly, they were a product. And so because of that, that kind of emboldened them to push forward for this censorship thing. And there were two very high profile movie related scandals in the early 1920s. There was a murder of the director William Desmond Taylor and the fatty Roscoe Arbuckle wild party where a young woman was allegedly sexually assaulted and died because of it.
Wow. Wait, Fatty Arbuckle was killed too?
No, he was fine. He was accused of rape, and which led to her death. This young woman named Virginia Rappe. Wow. He was eventually acquitted after 3 trials. And then the same with William Desmond Taylor. His murder's never been solved. But both of these scandals involved extramarital affairs and drugs and prostitution and a lot of alcohol and all the things that just play right into the hands of the Legion of Decency, right?
Yeah.
And so it became a thing where the studios decided, well, we need to do something to protect our bottom line, which, in my opinion, throughout the entire history of film, has been the only thing that matters.
Yeah, of course.
To the studios, right? To this day, even. So what the studios got together, and because of this Supreme Court ruling, what ended up happening was now every state in the nation could be able to create their very own censorship laws. Which made it a nightmare for distribution of the movies to the theaters, which were all owned by the studios.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Right. So they had to get together and make some decisions. Let's police ourselves to keep the government off our back. So that's what they did. And that's when the Hays Office was created. That was in 1927.
Yeah.
But really came into its own in 1930, which he wrote the Hays Code at that point. Which is the 36 rules of you can't do this, you can't do that, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. And
in films.
And I heard it was William H. Hays, but this is also this guy named Joseph Breen, who may have been even more influential than Hays because he was a louder voice and just kind of a proponent of we need to censor this. Right.
Now, the Breen office was Joseph Breen was affiliated with the Catholic Church and Legion of Decency. That's where he comes into this story. So he actually had the ability and this power to get the studios after 1934 when they started paying attention to the code, because prior to that it was voluntary. But they knew if you didn't play ball that you wouldn't get your films made the way you wanted to make them, and you wouldn't get them distributed. And so the Breen office worked together hand in hand with the Hays Code to create this basically draconian type of oversight of films. And it started with the scripts, it started with the actors, and it carried on through every ounce of production all the way along the line.
Yeah, I looked up the list of the actual rules, and it's so funny, and it's almost charming in a way because there's a list of don'ts and a list of be carefuls.
Exactly.
It's so goofy.
They're hysterical, and one of them is the thing that you couldn't show a toilet.
Oh my gosh!
In a film,
yeah,
every bedroom showed with a married couple had to have twin beds, and they had to be a certain distance apart.
Yep, exactly. And I'm gonna read some of these right now. So these are the list of be carefuls. I was
hoping you would. Yeah,
the use of the American flag doesn't really pontificate more than that, but just be careful. Don't be careful with the flag. International relations, be careful with international relations. Avoid picturizing in an unfavorable light in the country's religion, history, institutions, prominent people, citizenry, etc. Religion and religious ceremonies, arson, the use of firearms, theft, robbery, safe cracking, and dynamiting of trains, mines, buildings, etc.
Exactly. And here's the thing that just cracked me up the most. If now for men, they had a particular code of conduct. You know, you couldn't be sexual. You couldn't show anything that hinted of sexual intimacy or lingerie or, you know, like bare arms or bare legs or anything like that. You know, it was one on the list. But they always said, you can't make fun of religion and you can't make fun of the law in any way. That was not tolerated. And any kind of crime that was done, there has to be a penalty and you have to pay for your crime or you have to pay for your sin.
Good guy has to win, bad guy has to lose.
Exactly. And women could not show sexual pleasure.
Interesting. They have to
forbidden.
Have to be unwilling participants.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just a scream when we look at it now from 1925 perspective. But at the time, it made the studios find alternate ways to get those innuendos in and get the changes they want the point across. Like with Mae West, Barbara Stanwyck.
Yeah,
some of these wonderful actresses of that era, they made it work. And there's a quick uptick too in scripts that were written with very rapid-fire dialogue.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of snappy innuendos and a lot of stuff that they hoped to get it all in before the censors could say, wait, what was that? What did they say?
Yeah, I heard Matt Stone and Trey Parker have this story about how they put in, they're the creators of South Park, and they put in some really over-the-top and ridiculous things into some of their shows, and then they have the Paramount censors look at it, and they put stuff in that they don't ever expect to get past them, so the rest of the stuff looks tame by comparison. And I know that happened with the Hays Code as well, where it's like, we're just going to put in some rampant sex, and then they'll cut that out, but all the illusions and the double entendre will stay.
Yes, exactly. And that's when they started with the whole like euphemism for sex, where the train driving through the tunnel.
Yes.
Or the smokestack exploding.
Yeah, and the flower in bloom and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Stuff like kind of this. So basically the Hays office and the Breen office held sway over Hollywood for months, for years.
Yeah.
And it really kind of came to an end when two things happened. First of all, there was World War II. When that was over, American tastes in movies changed. People didn't want to go back to the stupid, boring stuff that was being cranked out by the studios for the most part for their bread and butter, because it made them money and it was safe, and they left them alone. So then television started in. Okay, you had the influence of television, which eroded away the power of the box office, because people could watch Uncle Milty on TV instead of having to pay 25 cents to go to the movies. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then in 1954, there was another court decision that basically reinstated the First Amendment rights for movies. So there was
what year was that?
Breen office was at that point was toothless.
What year was that they reinstated the First Amendment?
1954.
Oh, okay, great. So that was 20 years they were under that influence.
Yeah, 20 plus years, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And then the code officially ended in 1968 because the movie people that had formed the original, the MPPA, which is the Motion Picture Administration of America. That's when they put in the rating system that we know today.
Got it. I put on the screen an image of what the audience can imagine who you are, and it's from your Facebook header. What's that actress's name again?
Theda Bara, the Silent Queen Goddess.
Silent Queen Goddess, Theda Bara. What a vision.
Yes.
And
yes.
I know that Mae West is kind of considered from this era, the pre-code era, as the boundary pusher for basically doing the most when it comes to pushing the boundaries.
You bet. She absolutely is. She's another hero of mine.
Yeah, she's curvaceous.
Because she was the one who she wrote a lot of her own material.
Yep, that too.
She had a stage play that got closed down in New York for obscenity, and she spent a night in jail.
Nice, love it. Well,
yeah, I love it.
And she was a titan in that time. And
she was.
But then after, I think at some point she was kind of relegated. She was a flash in the pan and more. Like, she didn't have a long-standing career in that like heavy spotlight. Correct?
No, she burned hot and bright. And she saved the studios from bankruptcy because her films were so popular during the Depression.
Yeah.
But then, the new It Girl comes along and suddenly she's out of favor and the new thing comes out.
Yeah.
And the studios capitalize on that and life goes on,
Have you seen, what is the name of it? The Damien Chazelle movie about the end of the silent films. It just came out with Brad Pitt and,
but Babylon, something Babylon.
Babylon, that's it. Do you see Babylon?
Yes, I have.
It's interesting to pair all this stuff we're learning about the pre-code era with the silent film era being put to sleep, and I'm kind of watching it with a different perspective because I know in like 27 and all that talking started coming, but it ended an era of some sort of vibrance in film. It was like this weird roller coaster ride from like the silent film era, since you didn't have to deal with sound on set. We were able to be very kinetic and moving with the cameras, tracking shots and dollies and swings and things like that.
And development of close-ups.
Yes, all kinds of stuff. And they can't do that. They can't do that with when sound started coming because the cameras are so damn loud. So
they were. And one of the things I love about the era of, let's say like 29 through 34, 35, that the sound technology had improved so incredibly dramatically for the better. Because some of the really early stuff, it was like they were filming a stage play where everybody was very static.
Yeah, they had the cameras in these basically soundproof boxes that were unable to move because they had to mute the sound somehow. So, yeah, it was like riding high in the silent film era, and then a big crash when talkies hit, and then riding high when the technology caught up, and then crash again with the Hays Code, and then the slow incline back into the mid 50s when it was repealed.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it just makes me wonder what we could have come up with if the Hays Code hadn't been there during those early years.
Yeah, and it's
I'm sad for that.
And it's weird to think of these rules now, looking back at it, but like 100 years ago, the world was unrecognizable. So these rules that they had,
it truly was.
The rules they had, they don't have the benefit of hindsight. We're looking back at it now, and it's like one of the rules that don't do is you can't show the illegal trafficking of drugs. You can't show what was the one methods of smuggling. You can't show methods of smuggling because they don't want to give people ideas. So
that's it.
And I'm like, it makes sense in that regard. It seems so quaint now. Mm-hmm. But like arson, don't put the idea of arson into people's heads because maybe because if you watch what happens, you'll get the death penalty if you do, because bad guys always come to a bad end. Yeah. But one of the things that the church was the biggest complaint and the biggest fear was the influence over women, because the women went through a dramatic sea change. They got the right to vote in 1920. You could own your own property. You could get divorced. You could carry on with as many lovers as you wanted to, and nobody batted an eye. Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you're not keeping you home on the farm, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
I know. Heaven forbid the men of the day would release any of the power that they had over the women,
That's it. That's absolutely it. So the whole era is one of my favorite films of all time. Are silence and pre-code films.
Yeah.
It's foreign films for American cinema.
So I'm looking forward to it. I have a couple more guests on for the rest of the month that are also silent film and early film era fans that are just drenched in, put themselves right in the heart of it and are living in it. So I'm looking forward to that. But our movie this week is Scarface, 1932 Scarface, directed by William Hawke. Is that right? No, Howard Hawks. I'm sorry. Howard Hawks and Howard Hughes produced.
Yes.
So you've seen this, and you, thankfully, thank you so much. You, at the last moment when I found out I was going to be solo today, I asked you if you'd seen it, and you said, "Yeah, but I can rewatch it again if you want." And I thank you for reminding me, because I had seen it years ago, chopped up on television. I had never seen it uninterrupted, like it was meant to be seen. Yeah.
And before we start talking about that, can I give a couple of quick resources?
Yes, please.
For folks that are interested in researching pre-code information on their own.
Let's do it. I'm going to take notes so I can put it in the show notes too.
Okay. First of all, Criterion Channel. They have some information right now. They're featuring a collection of Howard Hawks films, many of them pre-code, and Scarface is among them, with all of the different, what do you call it? actually additional features, behind the scenes.
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
movie,
Mhm.
history of the movie, the good stuff, the things like film nerds like me go crazy for.
Yeah.
And also the TCM channel is showcasing pre-code movies this month of November.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
What
they're
a
referring
mitzvah.
to it as Hollywood's Untamed Era, 1930 to 1934. Then on YouTube, there's
All
a couple
right.
of creators that have some great stuff. And one of them I introduced you to. It's called The Scandalous Films of Pre-Code Hollywood.
Yes.
On YouTube by a creator. His name is Cass, K-A-S, Rowe, R-O-W-E.
Cass Rowe. C-A-S
Mhm.
R-O-W-E?
It's K-A-S.
K-A-S. Cass R-O-W-E.
Yeah.
I watched the video you sent me,
Mhm.
and it was very enlightening. And I'm going to talk about that.
That's the same one.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that video a little bit more with our next guests on next episodes because there's some parallels to some things that are happening in the modern era, in modern
absolutely.
modern content creation, which I think are worth diving into a little deeper that we can't do on this episode. But she's great, yeah.
Uh-huh. And then the other one is real quick. It's a shorter one. It's called The Hays Code and the Studio System, and it's by a creator called Props to History. P-R-O-P-S, and then to History.
All right, Props to History, and that's called the pre-code. What is it called again?
The Hays Code and the Studio Film System.
Okay. All right,
Because you can go down a rabbit hole and research this forever and never find all the bits and pieces that you love.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At least I can't.
So let's do that. Okay, I got those here. I'm gonna collect some resources for the classmates so they can look through this at their own leisure. So, okay,
Yes.
So we got that. Hollywood's Untamed Era. Got that. Turning classic movies. All right. So Scarface. Most people know about Scarface.
I loved it.
They think of Tony Montana. They think of Al Pacino, Brian De Palma, Miami in the 80s, 80s and 90s. So this is not that. This is Chicago, right? In the
Yes, 1931.
Yep, 1930s, and this is Prohibition era, and it is it's still Tony. It's not Tony Montana, but let me get into his name. His name is
Camote.
That's it, and he's not. He's not an immigrant per se. He's the child of an immigrant. I think his mother's from Italy, and he is born here. His sister is born here, and played by Anne Dvorak, Francesca. And we pick up the story, and it's not quite. You don't see his rags to riches. You just see you pick up on his first kill. The opening scene is great. Feels very film noir with the shadow play. Silhouette, and the gun in silhouette and stuff. And he just basically makes his first kill for the big boss, played by Osgood Perkins, Lovo. What is
Lovo? Yeah.
What is his name? His actual character's name? I can't remember.
John Lovo.
That's it, John Lovo. And
Yeah.
he basically just says, "Hey, you did good for me. You keep doing good. You keep you hit him hard. You hit him fast, and we're gonna make a bunch of money together. We're gonna take this town over." And Tony Saint sees that as an indictment and basically the approval to just run full speed, and he's set loose like a rabid dog on Chicago.
Yes, and nobody trusts anybody in this film, with good reason, because everyone's got an eye for knocking off the big boss and taking over everything. And one of the things I was reading too about the film here, prior to when the early talkies came out, one of the things where the big complaint was when you stop for dialogue, it slows down the story. And people just want to see the movie. They don't want to see people yakking, right? They weren't used to that yet.
Okay.
One of the things, as strange as that sounds, it was a concern, right?
Yeah.
So what Howard Hawks did in this film, he was a master of this, but you can especially see it in here. He tailored the delivery of the dialogue to match the action of the film so that it all flowed together. And that with the lighting and the use of silhouette, like you say, and a timing in with current events that had actually happened in Chicago. I think it was in 27 or 28, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yes, that happened in this
Which
movie.
started a gang war. They basically recreated that for this movie.
Yeah. Now it's
so there was an element of reality along with the story of the gangster.
Yeah, and it was I was hoping for some violence. I was hoping for some promiscuity, and I got both.
It did not disappoint.
Yeah, it does not disappoint. There's
no, it did not.
There's a great scene where, and it's funny because I've only seen the De Palma Scarface once. It was at the time I was like, that's enough, and I thought it was good. I liked it, but his sister in that movie also is somebody who he's like violently oversees. Like he's got a stranglehold over her life and doesn't want anybody to touch her, nobody to talk to her. And it's I was
going to say, and one of the things that came up along those lines with the relationship with his sister, it's almost teeters on incestuous in a way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It gives overtones of that.
Yeah, it's almost, there's a number of scenes where he's saying, no one can have you, no one can touch you. If anybody catch you, I'll kill you. Right. I'll kill him. And you're expecting the next line out of his mouth to say, that's my job or whatever. Because it's
exactly. It's
very,
oh my God.
It's very, it's not even subtle. Although they don't,
that's why. Exactly. We got to squeeze every ounce of the oomph into this film that we possibly can.
Correct. Yeah, there's very little double entendre. There's very little illusion.
No, it's right there.
It's right there. And his sister in this, Cheska, played by Ann Dvorak, who was another flash in the pan sort of actress who she was a dancer. She was young. She, in real life, in one of these scenes, she does a dance for George Raft's character, Ronaldo.
Right.
She's basically coming on to him, and he's like, "You're just a kid. See, I don't, what am I going to do with you?" And she goes, I just turned 18.
Well, I flipped my coin.
Yeah, exactly. He was so cool in this.
He was. Yeah. And he created this. This was a big stepping stone for him. It was a big break for him because he went on to be one of the studio's biggest gangster portrayers, and he always kept the whole flipping his coin.
Oh, really?
In
that's cool.
Every role that he ever did. Yeah, that was his thing, his trademark.
I know he's the big bad in Some Like It Hot, and he was great in that too.
Yeah, he was old big bad then.
Yeah, but yeah, he basically turns her away, and she says, "I'm 18 years old. I'm an adult. I can do what I want." And then she does a little salacious dance for him, which is it, again, in retrospect, seems sort of quaint, but she's almost doing some soft shoe and a little tap. But what she's wearing, she may as well be wearing nothing at all.
Exactly.
Like a piece of negligee. Completely bare backed all the way down to her lower waist, and it's like I can only imagine the flips that men were doing seeing a woman dressed like that in 1932.
Oh, exactly. And then when he's fighting with her in the kitchen, when the mama comes down and intervenes, he rips her shirt off.
Yeah.
Rips the dress off her.
You're like, what the hell's going on here, Tony?
Exactly. A whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I'm sorry, what?
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So the actor that plays John Lovo, Osgood Perkins, he's not related to Anthony Perkins, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I looked into
I do have a little bit of information about him, that he was very good friends with the director and with Ben Hecht, who was the screenwriter. And he had worked with Paul Muni on Broadway, and he recommended him to play the part of Tony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
I just saw the name, and the modern Osgood Perkins that we have now. Are you familiar with this stuff? The Monkey and Long Legs and
yes, a little bit.
Blackcoat's daughter. So he's that one, Osgood with a Z. He's Anthony Perkins' son.
That's what I knew. Yeah,
in real life, and I thought, well, maybe Anthony Perkins named him after this Osgood Perkins as an homage, just because he was a big name back then, and Perkins was big in the 50s or whatever.
I have to dig into that a little bit and find out.
Yeah, but I thought he was pretty good, and his unraveling right before his death scene in Scarface was just begging for not to be killed. Was you almost feel bad for the guy, even though he's a brutal gangster.
Well, and as the police officer said, I knew you'd be this way. You turn yellow and beg for your life.
Yeah.
But I mentioned this in a text to you earlier. There was an alternate ending to the film.
Yes.
That was created.
Yes. Super weird.
Bowed to the pressure of the Hays Code.
I read about it.
And I watched it. You can watch it on Criterion. I can tell you what happens.
Okay, yeah. So
spoiler alert here.
Before we give that, we'll just say, because the ending is very similar to the De Palma ending. He's He rises to fame. He has all this money. He feels like he's on top of the world. He's untouchable. And then the police raid his house, and it's a hail of gunfire. His sister is killed, just like in the De Palma movie. And then he comes out the front door, guns ablazing, and he gets lit up, and he's dead. And it's like, that's a fitting end. Even if this was Hayes' era, that ending would have fit because he got his just desserts to that. But the ending,
in one way, yes, he did. But the way that the alternate ending is, if you want to talk about that now.
Please.
Basically, he begs for his life like a coward, gets captured by the police, put on trial, is found guilty of murder of Guido, George Raft's character.
Yeah.
Who he kept saying, I didn't know they were married. I didn't know they were married.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he's sentenced to hang for his crimes. And the judge has a whole monologue about how you're the most contemptible criminal I've ever had that's ever come across my bench and blah, blah, blah. So basically, any kind of crime goes punished. And at the end, you see him be executed by hanging in prison.
Wonderful.
That's the end. Yeah.
Why drag it out?
Little ending. I know, exactly.
I have this on Criterion, and it's weird because I blind bought it months ago in preparation for doing this topic. I picked the topic already, and I said, "Ooh, I'm going to get Scarface."
Okay.
I've heard Scarface is good. I know it's a revered classic. I would love to see the original, just to see how it compares with the rest. And and then as soon as I finished the movie, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's watch some behind the scenes stuff. I want to learn more about this. And I looked, and the second disc that was supposed to be in the set is not there. They sold me a set that only had the one disc in there instead of the special features. So
no. Well, if you go to the Criterion channel online, they have it.
Okay, perfect. I was just gonna say I'm not tripping, but it would be nice to be able to watch that stuff online somewhere. So I'll check that out.
Yeah. And they talk a lot about how the atmosphere, the lush use of shadow. It's almost an over homage to German Impressionism. Yeah. And I love the use of silence in the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where sometimes you've got, like, for instance, the scene where the sister is going to shoot him. You think she's going to shoot him for killing her husband. And I'm thinking, shoot him. Just fucking shoot him.
Yeah, do it.
He deserves it. And then, do it. Please do it. Put him out of his misery. And then she doesn't. But the use of absolute total silence in that, so effective.
Yeah, that is good. I love the gleeful joy that Tony gets when he has a gun in his hand. Yeah, hey, they got machine guns. You can carry around like a baby. See, I'm gonna go grab one. Let's go get it.
Let's get out of here. Yeah.
And the chaos that he rains down on Chicago in like what essentially looks like over the course of like 2 weeks is like throwing bodies out of moving vehicles, mowing down men, women, and children on the streets,
blowing up stuff.
Yeah.
But I have to say, one of the things that kind of gave me a shiver, almost like a precursor here, the very beginning when the film opens up and it talks about how gang violence is an epidemic, the government can't stop it. There's no control over it. And what are you American citizens going to do about it? That kind of thing. And then there's a scene where the police are talking to the press.
Yeah.
And they're saying, you got to quit giving these guys good press because everybody thinks they're heroes. And they're not. They're horrible criminals. And they start talking about, we can't stop them. We can't stop the flow of machine guns. They're legal. It's not illegal to own them.
Yeah.
And children aren't even safe in school. And they start saying, well, have we thought about how to stop it? We could deport them because half of them aren't even Americans. I just got a shiver down my back when I was listening to that.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same, unfortunately.
Not 80 odd years later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was nice to see, it's funny because I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes score and it's had a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I try to find, whenever that happens, I like to find the one critic that doesn't like it. And his review basically says, it's very tiresome to see North American productions insist that the only bad guys exist abroad. Al Capone was born in Brooklyn. And
yes, he was.
But in that same scene, there's another Italian immigrant there that says, I hate this man. He gives a bad name to my people. And it's like, it's okay to differentiate between a criminal who just happens to be an immigrant and then the rest of everybody who's an immigrant, It's
exactly.
But the administration we have in place right now, they don't discriminate or they don't differentiate between the two. It's everybody. If you're not Aryan descent, you're apparently no good to us, according to this bastard.
And worthless. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of along those same lines, going back to what was kind of the death knell of the Hays Code.
Yeah.
After World War II and the 50s were happening, there was a huge amount of foreign films that were becoming very popular.
Mm-hmm.
And the directors of these foreign films didn't want to subject their films and their work to these stupid restrictions. So they just said, okay, we're not even going to show them in America, which panicked the studios because that's their bottom line.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
the thing that's also freaky, I mean, as a filmmaker, thinking about it from like, you have this vision, you have this huge production, you spend all this money, whatever, and if you don't err on the side of caution for self-censorship, you could have the finished product presented to the board and they go, yeah, it's not approved, we can't show it anywhere. And then you're like, you waste
and all this time and money wasted.
Yeah, so it's almost like the filmmakers themselves have to overcorrect on the opposite side of censorship in order to guarantee that their product is going to hit the screens or whatever.
Exactly, and you're going to make them money. Yeah, exactly. But I loved one of the things that Tony's philosophy was: do it first, do it yourself, and keep doing it.
Yep. There's a lot of great lines in this. There's a lot of great acting, and I really think the star of the show for me is Vincent Barnett, the actor who played his little sidekick, the illiterate guy.
The one that could never get the name right.
Yeah. I was like, how many times are they go to this bit about how he can't get the person's name right, or he has to, you got to speak up, I can't hear you. No, that's too loud now.
Exactly.
He was really good.
You saw flashes of Tony's humanity, but they were very brief.
Yeah. And it was also him trying to like be an intellectual when he's watching that play. And he was really invested in the play, and he just really wanted to find out who the girl would pick in the play instead of go killing his rival.
She's disgruntled. Disgruntled.
Yeah, that's what she's called, disillusioned, you know?
That's right, exactly.
And then there was another great bit about the production was how all of the deaths, or almost all of the deaths, were foreshadowed by an X on screen.
Yes, exactly. I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, like that a lot. They did that in The Departed as well.
And where it reminded me of The Godfather, where they go after the hospital to kill the guy that's still alive that survived the hit.
Oh yeah, that was brutal. I mean, and they don't even have any reservations whatsoever. They're just coming in with flowers, blow them away, throw the flowers on the bed, gone.
They're almost like, what are you going to do to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody can catch me. What are you going to do to me?
They literally feel like they're untouchable. So,
yep.
Any other thoughts on Scarface before we wrap up?
No, just to thank you again for reminding me what a gem it is.
It's a great movie.
I've heard it described as the quintessential, gangster film of the pre-code era.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of them, or any of them besides this one, but I could say that that's probably well earned because it was really great to watch. If you had to give Scarface a grade, 1932, what do you give it?
A+.
A+. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be my guess. Yes.
I probably give it an A, maybe an A-. I think it was really great, and I think that the characters were interesting. It was well acted, and the sharp imagery of the set building and the costume, and like,
yes.
I don't know anything about 1930s costuming, but I could tell the difference between Tony at the beginning of the story and Tony at the end of the story. And it's like, if I could,
when he was very proud of his new suits and stuff, looking really sharp.
Yeah,
the image was everything.
I'm gonna wear one of these shirts a day and give it back to the laundry. What do you think about that?
That's right. Like, that's impress you,
Yeah.
One of the overwhelming things too about this too is you've got to look at these films through the lens of the time they were created.
Yeah, you do.
If you try to compare them to modern stuff, they're going to fail in some way.
Yeah,
but I take it for the gem that it is.
I found quite a few great movies from the black and white era that I never would have watched before. The Third Man was one that sticks out just as a.
That's an excellent one. Yes, I just saw that not long ago again.
Absolute gem of a movie. But I think that Scarface earns its ranking up there as kind of one of the better ones of the era, especially in the pre-code era.
I think so too.
All right. Well, thanks, Aunt Linda. Do you want to tell anything to our classmates? We have by the way, in the chat, there's people love you. Dallas from Utah says, now this is the middle class film class. Great guest. And
God bless you, baby.
Yeah. And our all pal Heather Sachs, she says, I always love an Aunt Linda visit. And she says, I watched this with my grandpa, Scarface, when it was on TV when I was visiting. Plus, it has Boris Karloff. So on my you should watch this old ass film list. What a banger.
Oh, yes, because he was a contract player for Universal.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, he's I think of him as the Universal monster man, you know.
Exactly.
And then
but thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be able to talk to you about this.
And Jessica and Brooklyn and my mom are all in the chat. They all say hi and they love you.
Oh, love you guys too.
Yeah.
So what I would say, my closing thing is, if you're interested in old movies, do yourself a favor and take the time to investigate them and watch a few and find out what you like and what you don't.
Yeah.
Because there's no bad way to watch a movie. And to me, I look at it, there's no bad film, because even if I think it stinks, somebody else will think it's the best thing they've ever seen and are so glad and they want to see more.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us the download on the film era. And do you have a recommendation? Because Tyler and Joseph have not officially given me their choices for their pre-code film. Do you have a recommendation?
Here's a good one. The Universal Monster series. Every one of them, especially the Son of, I think it's called The Son of Frankenstein. It was the sequel to Frankenstein, which was done in 1931. It gave the Breen office fits because their biggest complaint was it made fun of religion and questioned if God was the supreme creator.
Oh, interesting.
That would have been the last thing I would have thought of. But
well, maybe
so
that's an apt choice.
Any one of the Universal monster films, and they're easy to watch. They're easy to find and watch.
Yeah. Plus, with the Del Toro's new Frankenstein that just came out, it might be a good.
Oh, I'm
going to
watch that probably tonight.
Nice, great.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'd like to offer my services as the historian of the class when it's appropriate for old movies.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, you too, babe.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you. Love you too. Bye.
What a delight. Oh, that was great. Love Aunt Linda. If it wasn't for Aunt Linda, I don't know if I would be into the movies that I am today. I mean, I know that my mom she's the one who really endowed my love of film onto me, but maybe Aunt Linda endowed that onto her. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, you're still in the chat, Mom. Hi. Did Aunt Linda have any sort of influence on you for your movie taste or your love of movies, or is it just endemic where both of you guys were just love the film? Put in the chat if you like. So, okay, I think that's it. We covered Scarface. It was a great banger. I think you guys should all watch it if you're on the fence. Oh, Mom says yes, she did. That was part and parcel of being sisters with her. So, all right, so. Thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon as we wrap this up. That is Javier, Heather in the chat, Michael, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch on the YouTube and share with a friend. That is its own way of doing it too. So this episode will go out on Wednesday. The Gavin Chatter will go out tomorrow. So you can watch these or listen to them on the podcast stream. But if you want to watch it live, generally it's Saturdays, 12:30 p.m. on Pacific time. That's not always the case. So if you just follow us on YouTube, like today, we're doing this Sunday at 3 o'clock. That was our first starting time, Pacific time, 3 o'clock. If you follow us on YouTube and just hit the bell on there, you get notified when we go live. I think you could change your personalized settings to like not get notified every time a new thing drops, but just when people go live or a specific content creator goes live. That's a good one to do because sometimes we do a night stream. Sometimes we'll do a Sunday stream based off of our schedule. But the episodes always come out every Monday for the Gavin Chatter and every Wednesday for the reviews. So now we're back, and next week we will find out from Joseph and Tyler what movie they want us to watch for next week. And then week 4 of pre-code November will be the Patreon pick. So if you're on the Patreon, you can get on for as little as, I think, $2 a month or something like that. Our highest supporters are the cool ass yard duties that we talked about earlier. and they are going to help us pick what we got coming. So anyways, until next time. Thank you for joining us as we talk about Pre-Code November, the Hays Code, the Breen Code, religious freedoms, and freedom of speech in the 1930s. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find our website, mcfcpodcast.com, to find all of our social media and our contact page. If you don't want to send us an email, you can do it anonymously on there. Thank you so much to my Aunt Linda for coming in and talking to us about the pre-code era, and we will see you all next week.